These are my parents, Bob and Kim Wheely. My parents are both doctors, which means that they face a lot of unexpected situations every day. They were always telling my brothers and I that you can't always control what happens to you, but to try and make the best out of any situation. Last summer, my brother Greg road tripped out to Colorado with me to take me to the place I work at every summer. We ended up flying back home a couple days later to be in a wedding of one of our best friends. The wedding was beautiful. The next day, I flew from St. Louis to Denver and from Denver to Alamosa, Colorado on a tiny 10-seater plane. I had made this flight at least 7 times before, and I wasn't scared of it at all. The flight started out pretty normal. It was really smooth at the beginning. But then, all of a sudden, we started to experience some turbulence. The oxygen masks all of a sudden came down, and I realized that I was in far more danger than I ever really thought I would be on a plane. It was eerie how silent everyone was. The girl next to me was shaking and freaking out. She was really scared. I was sitting in the front of the plane, and I did the only thing I know how to do when I'm in a scary situation. I started telling jokes. I don't remember what I said or how I said it, but all I could think to do was to try and make people laugh. Kind of like my parents had taught me, to make the best out of an unexpected situation. I also prayed that I'd get to see my family again. Prayed that everyone on the flight would be safe. After what seemed like hours of thinking that the plane was going to crash and that we were all going to die, we finally emergency landed back in Denver, Colorado. The pilot didn't have a lot to say to us, but said that there had been some serious problems with the engine and that he was sorry. He said that we could board in 20 minutes on a different plane if we wanted. There were 2 women and another guy behind me, and we all decided there was no way we were going to get on another plane. They asked me if I wanted to road trip with them to Alamosa, and I said yes.
Because they were waiting for him to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we hit a wrong button," or something, you know. I was like, okay, they talk about this, but this is really happening. You're not supposed. I'm like, okay, we're about to die.
No, I was just waiting for the captain to be like, "Sorry, I hit the wrong button."
Right.
It ended up being one of the funnest days ever. Each person in the car took turns telling stories about their lives, and I had an awesome time getting to know these new friends. It also made me think about what my parents had always taught me, that life sometimes doesn't go the way we plan, but it's about what you do in that situation that makes you who you are. It also made me think about my culture and how much we expect certain things to happen in our lives. We graduate high school, go to college and get a degree, and then have hopes of finding a wonderful job. I live in a culture of big expectations. It's not that wanting these things to happen is bad, but what I learned from my plane ride is that we can't always control what happens in our lives. And sometimes, like my parents taught me, the biggest adventures come from the obstacles that get in the way of our plans fully working out the way we wanted them to.
Is that what today is?
Yep.
Yeah.
On May 20th, death was imminent.
We cheated death.
Yes. Yes.